Hello, everybody, and welcome to Megazord Radio, the show where we watch and rank episodes of the Power Rangers television franchise. I am your host, Riely, joined, of course, by my wonderful co-host, his third episode, just 13 more, and have been on more than the last one. Give it up for Nightster.
Hey everybody!
Let's go. So some news happened, first of all, and I'm pretty sure the news came out like the day we recorded the last podcast, but after we were done, which is pretty frustrating. But hey guys, Power Rangers is coming back.
New season!
New season of Power Rangers on Disney Plus, no less. Interesting. This is not Neo Disney, although you could kind of call it that. Disney has not bought back Power Rangers. Disney Plus is simply the streaming distributor for this Hasbro show. But it does have the same creative staff as the Disney Plus Percy Jackson show. So I guess if you like Percy Jackson and you like the Disney Plus Percy Jackson show, you might be in for something good. I've never consumed a single second or single word or page of anything Percy Jackson in my entire life, so that means nothing to me. But new Power Rangers, I'm excited.
Yeah, me too. It's going to be great.
Yeah, and of course, as is tradition, because Nightster is a lot more cooperative than certain other individuals who might have been on this show before, who may have been arguing for us to not do this in the future. We will be covering it once it comes out. Whenever that may be, I'm assuming a year or two from now. So we'll probably be on like Zeo. We'll start swapping week to week like we're doing now with Cosmic Fury, which unfortunately is not new because we took a year hiatus by accident. But what are you gonna do? Speaking of, we are back to Cosmic Fury, which is a little weird because I probably should have rewatched the first 3 episodes so I could like catch up in my brain. But I did not do that. so I'm a little bit. I remember vaguely what happens, but like only like the important stuff, you know. I also feel like our ranking list is wrong. We already had our chance to reassess that, and we agreed it wasn't wrong. But I feel like episode 3 is better than episode 2 was. But maybe again, my memory is shaky.
I think we came up with a reason for why the order was in that way, but I just can't remember what it was.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it, but yeah, right now the ranking list is just a list of the episodes in order.
Yeah.
But folks, today we're watching some more Cosmic Fury, and I really should have used this news discussion as an excuse to pull up the wiki without having to do this stalling thing I usually do, where I ramble about nothing while I pull up the wiki. But you know, sometimes you're just not prepared, and that's okay. So it happens to the best of us. All right, this is Power Rangers Cosmic Fury, episode 4. It is teamwork. 2 separate words this time, rather than one word, like the Mighty Morphin episode. It aired September 29th, 2023, which I'm pretty sure they all aired that day. Written by Becca Barnes, Alwyn Dale, Maya Thompson, and Cameron Dixon, and directed by Charlie Haskell, who's been in the franchise for a long time. I don't know if we reached him in Mighty Morphin yet, but I know he does do Mighty Morphin episodes, so he's been a tried and true trooper, that Charlie Haskell. But yeah, this is teamwork. So here we go.
Yeah.
So Ollie, we start with Ollie. We start off on the planet Levina. Ollie's got some monster bros. Their names, according to this wiki, are I remembered one, which was Snoutia, who's like the only one who I guess kind of technically survives, but she just has to be in vines in the forest forever. We'll get there.
I didn't know that she was a woman. I thought it was a guy.
She gave me girl vibes. I don't know. It's hard to tell with these monsters sometimes.
I'm gonna Google it.
So their names are Crimzo, Quado, Judana, and Snoutia. Crimzo is like the guy with the weird red mask. Quado's the dude who throws the disc, which we'll talk about Quado in a bit because I have something to say about Quado. And then there's Jadana, who's like the chick, the green chick. And then there's Snoutia, who's like that weird pink snout monster. So all these got go monster rangers going on.
Go monsters.
And they're of course looking for Zato and Mick. And Ollie tries to like rally the team in such a way that a Power Ranger would do. But the monsters are like, no, we're just gonna be silly monsters and boop around.
Which I kind of hated, to be honest.
That the monsters weren't susceptible to teamwork?
The fact that they took some villain costumes from Sentai seasons that I love and just turned them into jokes. I hate that.
Did Pro Royalty just walk in the room?
It's one criticism of the season. It's just that the villain costumes, and I love those suits. I love those villains, like freaking what's his name? Scorpio. The Scorpion guy, and the one that was turned into Crimson for Cosmic Fury. He was so cool. Q Ranger.
Yeah, well, I watched every episode of Cosmic Fury that wasn't this one, or every episode so far of Cosmic Fury that wasn't this one 2 years ago, so I don't remember what you're talking about.
He was in this episode. He was.
Oh, Crimson. He was? Oh, he was Crimzo. Okay. Yeah. I thought you were saying Crimson. I'm like, there's nobody named Crimson in this episode. Crimzo. Okay.
Yeah, Crimzo. Yeah.
His design is pretty cool. So yeah, it is kind of unfortunate that he's just like a one-off joke monster. But you know, what are you gonna do?
Watch Q Ranger. That's what you should do.
That's what you're gonna do. There you go.
Then you can really see the costume in full action because Scorpio is incredible.
So Quado, we cut to Quado, and Quado's wandering around, and he's literally going like, Zato, are you there, Zato? Zato. So he's just calling Zato's name like a goofball. And then he finds a scarf under a boulder that also has a wig on top of it. And he's like, ooh, I need some fashion. Ollie, come help me get this scarf that's under this boulder.
Oh, yeah.
And Ollie's like, dude, that's not a scarf. It's not a boulder. And then he slashes it with his sword, and it's actually Mick. So Mick is here. Ollie has found him. Ollie calls some Sentinels, and they grab Mick. And they're like, and Ollie's like, is that Zato's cape? And Mick is like, no, it is Scar.
Right? It could be a scarf, and he like flares it over his own neck.
Yeah, he throws it on like a scarf. Yeah. So yeah, so Mick has been restrained by the Sentinels, and then the Cosmic Fury Zords fly in, destroy a squid drill. There were squid drills, by the way. I didn't mention that. There's squid drills here. There's gonna be squid drills everywhere the bad guys are, I assume. And the Cosmic Fury Zords destroy some squid drills. And Ollie's like, why isn't the force field up? And the monsters are always like, oh, it wasn't me. Oh, I was napping. Oh. This is a very silly squad of monsters.
Yeah.
So the Power Rangers teleport in. And Ollie's like, hey guys, check this shit out. And then he morphs into his evil suit for the first time, as it turns out. I don't know why I thought he did it in episode 3, but he did not. This is the first time. And this suit is one of my favorite suits ever in Power Rangers.
It's so cool.
So rad.
It's not my favorite suit, but it's up there.
I mean, like, my favorite suit is probably, like, the White Ranger, but this one's up there.
That is so vague. There are
Yeah,
so many White
no,
Rangers.
the White Ranger. Any other White Ranger, you have to say what White Ranger they are. This is the White Ranger that I'm talking about.
I'm assuming you mean Tommy.
Yes. Because that was just what they were called. They didn't have like they on. It wasn't until much later when they had to differentiate them that they started using the term Mighty Morphin to really describe them. Most of the time, they were just Tommy is the White Ranger. That's what they called him.
That is true.
But regardless, so the Power Rangers are here. Ollie is morphed into an evil Power Ranger, and he's like, "Oh man, it sucks you guys don't have any powers. This is gonna be too easy." And Amelia's like, "You want to bet, fucker?" And then they morph. By the way, I just want to say the link to Morphin Grid here, good delivery. Keep that in your pocket because there's going to be another link to Morphin Grid later that I have issue with as compared to this one. Um,
Yeah.
but but yeah, so the Power Rangers morph. A big fight ensues. The Power Rangers are fighting the Sentinels and all the monsters and shit. Mick is still restrained. Can't morph. Which smart move by Ollie. Ollie does say that outright. He's like, "Yeah, I'm not gonna let you morph. We're gonna restrain you, bitch. What now?" So yeah, the big fight happens. I just want to say, let's talk about Quado for a second, because this might be the most brutal monster murder I've ever seen in my life. I've ever seen in the
Oh
history of
yeah.
Power Rangers, where Quado is like juggling his little discs that he has. He's like, "Oh, I bet I'll impress Squillia with my juggling." And as he's like, "You want to really impress her? Catch the juggle these." And she throws her daggers at him, and he immediately disintegrates into ash.
Yeah.
It's fucking crazy. That's savage as hell.
Hey, you want to impress her? Bang, you're dead.
Die. So yeah, that's the only one I particularly remember their deaths. It's really not particularly not a particularly hard fight for the Power Rangers. This is their showing off the new powers fight. So the Power Rangers that are not Amelia very easily destroy all of the enemies who are not Ollie. Meanwhile, Amelia and Ollie are fighting, and they're kind of bickering a little bit. Ollie's like, "Red's not a good color on you," and Amelia's like, "Bitter's not a good color on you." And they're fighting. And then once the Power Rangers kill all the rest of the monsters, besides Snoutia survives the ordeal.
Yeah.
Um,
And that's
and
important for later.
and they go to fight Ollie. All of the Power Rangers go to fight Ollie and Snoutia together. And Snouty is like on the ground, like not decapitated. What am I looking for? What's the word I'm looking for? Um,
Describe the word.
Debilitated? No, I don't think that's the word. I think that works, but that's not the word I'm looking for. Incapacitated. That's it. So
Decapitated.
yes, he's alive. He's not decapitated.
She's got
But
no head.
she's got no head. So Snotty is incapacitated. And she's like, "I could get him. Help me up. I could get him." And Ollie's like, "Save it for round two." And then they leave. And Mick is now free. And he meets up with the Power Rangers. And Mick is like, "Hey, look." And they're like, "Mick, what did you find out?" And Mick's like, "Well, Levia is this really interesting planet where there's only one little city and the rest of it is forest. But you were asking me about Zato, though." And
Yeah.
all the Power Rangers are like understanding of this. Like Izzy even has like a little like smile on her face. She enjoys Mick's antics. But he's like, "Yeah, so Zato, I found part of his cape. I turned it to a bird. There was cape flying around, so I turned it into a bird. And I got the cape, and I found this cape." And they start looking around trying to find more clues. At some point,
And he's like, "Oh, I can't find a flying clue." And then I think it was
yeah. So he retraces his steps, or
Yeah.
retraces his flaps, rather,
Flap.
as Avi says, and he's literally flapping his arms and making bird noises the whole time. Which, man, shout out to Kelson Henderson in general, but
Yeah.
shout out to
I love
Mick Gannick.
Yeah, best
Uh,
character.
but yeah, they find the impact crater where Zato landed, where there's a bunch of like broken like Dino Fury weapons and sabers and such.
Well,
It's a
one weapon just into many
wasn't
parts,
there
but
like a blaster that was messed up too?
I'm not sure actually.
Because there were like a couple things besides the saber they picked up, and I thought one of them was like a blaster that he had.
Uh, let me find the episode because I don't think because what Harvey picked up what
Was his broken
one
saber?
like one piece of the broken saber.
Oh, maybe
Because
it was just other pieces of the broken saber. Yeah, that's possible.
I'll take a look because it might be other stuff as well, but we'll see. Uh,
Does they don't
there
even
it is.
have a blaster? I don't remember. Man, the weapons are not as memorable as they used to be. Like I know the blade blasters. I know all the power weapons. I don't remember what fucking weapons they had in Dino Fury.
I'm pretty sure they only had a sword.
Ah, okay. They didn't have a blaster, any of them?
Uh, well, Ion did.
Okay, Ion had a blaster. They didn't have sidearms? They just had the swords? That's weird.
The sword was the sidearm, but they just didn't have individual weapons.
Anyway.
Uh,
So, they find a piece of Zato's cape sticking off of a branch in the nearby woods. So they're like, Zato must have gone into the woods. And so they go into the woods, and they start looking around. And it's like weird. There's no animals here. This is kind of a weird forest. And Ion sees some fruit, and he's like, "Ooh,
yeah,
fruit!" And then the tree slaps him. He gets slapped by a tree.
not by a tree.
Getting slapped down by a tree.
And
So
he
that
keeps
was
trying
weird.
this as well.
Ollie and Snoutia are following close behind, but the Power Rangers don't know that yet. And they also learn that the forest is weirdly alive because Snoutia starts throwing a fucking hissy fit and kicking shit, and then the forest is like, "Hey, stop!" and ties him down to the floor with vines.
And Ollie just leaves her.
And Ollie's just like useless. He just calls some Sentinels, and he's like, "Yeah, this is a better replacement for this useless
Yeah,
bitch."
she's useless.
And this is a wrap on Snoutia, by the way.
Oh, we don't see her again.
Yeah.
Like,
So we come back to the Power Rangers, and they realize, oh, if the forest is alive, maybe, or Amelia's like, if the forest is alive, maybe I can use my Rafconian brain powers on it.
and
And
mind
they're all
meld tree.
mind meld, yeah. And they're like, you're gonna try to talk to a tree? And Amelia's like, it's worth a shot. So she mind melds with the tree. And she sees that this forest is like one entire living being that is like connected together. And she comes back to reality. She's like, the forest is all connected and it's all alive. It's one being. And Ion's like, no wonder it slapped me for trying to take the fruit. It doesn't want to share. So Amelia and Ion both mind meld with the tree, and they're like, "What this tree? What happened to Zato?" And they get a flashback of Zato wandering into the forest. He's all like hurt and shit because he just crashed into that giant crater. And the forest sees that he's a good boy and decides to help him. So they put him in a tree so that he can heal. So now Zato is in a tree. That's where Zato is.
He's just in a tree.
He's just hanging out in a tree.
I am tree. I am Groot.
I am tree. So then, once they learn this, Ollie jumps out and he blasts the Power Rangers into the bushes, which tricks the forest into tying them up like they did Snoutia. Which this was Ollie's plan the whole time, by the way, because he does like a little smirk when he realizes that the forest does that. So he traps the Power Rangers. He leaves the Sentinels to guard them. And he's like, now I'm going after Zato. And Ion's like, don't you fucking touch my boyfriend Zato! And Ollie's like, what are you gonna do about it? Bitch.
Make a flagon cake?
Yeah. Man, Ollie's so good at being an asshole. How is this ever a hero? He's so much better at being a villain.
I know, he's so good as a villain. And his drip, even when demorphed, it's just, bro, that jacket.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. So then the Power Rangers are trapped, and they're like, maybe we could like reason with the forest. So they put on their Raphiconian horns, and they're like, Forest, we're good, actually. Please, Zato's our friend. They're gonna hurt him. And the forest is like, shit, okay. And then they let the Power Rangers go. Which I'm making jokes about the forest talking back right now. Stay tuned.
Oh, stay tuned, guys. Just you wait.
So the forest releases the group, and they destroy the Sentinels and then go after Ollie. But the Squid Drill is doing some shit. It's bad. So
Oh, yeah, the Squid Drill.
yeah, because I think they were fucking with the city with the Squid Drill too. So Amelia and Izzy and Javi are like, okay, we got to deal with the Squid Drill. So Ion, you go get Zato. So the party splits. And Amelia's like, hey, it's Megazord time. You up for that, Mick? And Mick's like, hell yeah, let's go.
Am I ever?
Am I ever? So they morph. Man, you know what I like about this? You know what I'm starting to like about this season? I like that there's just like a couple other Power Rangers around besides the main ones. Like, it's cool because like multiple Power Rangers exist. That's always been the case. But in 99% of seasons, you're only going to see one set or maybe two if there's a crossover. In this show, there's just like a couple of them that are around. There's Nick, and he's a Ninja Steel. There's Billy, and there's another one later who we'll talk about when we get to him.
Might be. I think that might be next episode. I might be wrong though.
I guess we'll see. When does... Okay. I think this is obvious. I bet we probably mentioned it when me and Co-Royalty were doing our coverage. When does Fern get her powers? We're almost halfway through the show.
List of full appearances. Let me.
Which also, real quick, I had to call Co-Royalty out on something. Crow told me that Billy is barely in the show. We're almost halfway in, and he's been in every episode. What are you talking about? Is this it for Billy?
I think his appearances do dwindle down as we go, but I'm misremembering because it's been a while since I last saw it.
Yeah, maybe you just meant like the amount of Billy screen time we get, but like I don't expect much. He's a mentor. Like they go back to base and they talk to him. Like that's what he's here for. Sometimes he'll morph, I guess, maybe. He morphed in the first episode. But he's a mentor character, and it's fine.
Yeah. Okay, maybe I wasn't specific enough. Orange range. Is there any info on the wiki about when she becomes a ranger? Fury. When does Fun?
Man, it makes me so mad that they only gave them 10 episodes for this.
Okay, so apparently we're 2 episodes away from Cosmic Fury Orange.
Okay, so Fern gets 4 episodes to be a Power Ranger. Cool.
Yeah.
Man, fuck you, Hasbro. Come on.
And according to sources, do you want to know how many Heckle gets?
I'm gonna guess 1.
1.
Yeah.
He gets 1 episode as a ranger. My boy deserved more.
Yeah. So yeah, the Rangers summon the Zords.
Yeah, they do.
Zato's driving the Phoenix. The other ones, I think, are driving like their main Zords. It's hard to tell. There's a lot of Zords.
I know Izzy was in the Shark.
Okay, so Izzy was the shark. She was not in the lizard, so she was not in her usual one. Izzy was in the shark.
You can see the configuration clearly. So Izzy, Shark. Amelia was in the Lion.
Yeah, I remember that now.
I think Harvey was in the Snake. And yeah,
And Mick was in the Phoenix. Yeah,
and Mick was in the Phoenix. Yeah.
I love that Mick is just a Power Ranger now. Man, I love that. I love Mick. I'm glad
Yeah,
Kelson Henderson finally just gets to like be a Power Ranger.
It's so cool.
Yeah. Best Ninja Steel Red, by the way. Nobody cares about Brody or his stupid dad.
Nah, Mick should have been red from the start.
True. So true.
I would have watched it and enjoyed it if he was.
But anyway, so yeah, there's Zord fights. They do some individual fighting, and then we cut back to Ion, who finds the tree, but it's glowing, and he pulls Zato out of the tree. And my mother is singing about feeding the cats right outside my door. Very nice of her. So yeah, he pulls Zato out, and hey guys, Zato's back.
Hey, Zato!
Yay. Man, Zato's not the best. Zato is just like, I'm sorry, Russell Curry, but like, take some acting classes, buddy.
They tried so hard to make him this Red Ranger mentor, but he's just this stone brick.
It's like he has his moments. Like by the end of Dino Fury, I was like okay with Zato, but he's definitely my least favorite of the team.
Yeah.
And it's like we were without him for a while, and I was kind of digging the dynamic. I like the 4-person team of Amelia, Javi, Izzy, and
Ion.
why is it Ion? Thank you.
You're welcome.
I like the dynamic between that 4-person team. And now Zato's back. Yay. So Zato comes out of the tree. And he wakes up. Well, he's unconscious for a minute. And Ion's like, Zato, please, I love you, come back. And he tries to mind meld with him, but it doesn't work.
You can't do
Ion's
it.
like, wait, why can't I? What's happening? And then Zato wakes up. And Ion's like, oh my god, you're okay. But like, why can't I read your mind though? And Zato's like, maybe it was the Morphin Masters when they changed me when they brought me back, perhaps. Which, Zato, here's Zato is lying. Here's how you can tell Zato is lying, because his acting is worse than usual. That's how you can tell.
Yeah. Extra
So,
bad.
so yeah, Zato lies. Ion's like, thank you, Forrest, for helping Zato. And the Forest says, you're welcome. And that's not a joke that I'm making. That's a thing that happened. And I actually screamed out loud, what?
The trees talk.
Because, like, the forest is alive. I understand that the forest is alive, but usually when a forest is alive, it's alive in, like, a similar way to, like, an animal being alive. Forests don't talk. But this forest do talk. And the forest says, you're welcome. And hey, Zato, enjoy the time you have left. And Ion's like, that's like, ominous.
That's dark.
That's dark. And Zato's like, oh, I think, maybe they're just talking about how much time we have on the planet left before we leave. So yeah, Zato's gonna die. I think that's pretty plain to see.
Foreshadowing.
Foreshadowing. Meanwhile, the Rangers form the Megazord, And Ollie turns the Squid Drill to battle mode. And they're fighting. And the Cosmic Fury Zord wins pretty good. And Amelia calls Ollie and he's like, yo, that thing's about to go down and I can't save you. But Ollie's like, I don't need you to save me. And he just teleports away. So the Rangers just finish off the Squid Drill. And Mick borrows the Eagle Zord, by the way. It's not a Phoenix, I guess. According to Power Rangers, it's an Eagle. So they leave. Mick borrows the Eagle Zord to go home, so I assume this is probably a wrap on Mick, but we'll see.
We shall see.
And the others head to the command center. So Zeto's like, wow, you're the Red Ranger. And Amelia's like, you're cool with that? It's a little weird because you're here. And Zeto's like, you stepped up. You led the team. So that's a Red Ranger to me. And you know what, Zeto? Now I'm glad you're back. Good line. Thank you.
I delivered a perfect line there.
Wonderful, wonderful. So Billy's like, I didn't forget about you either, Zeto. And he gives Zeto the morpher. His new morpher that he has. And then Zeto morphs with the most piddly link to morphing grid I've ever heard in my life.
I need to hear that again just to see how bad it was. Because I've got the episode pulled up.
Yeah, pull it up again. See just how bad that shoddy link to morphing grid delivery was.
What the fuck was that?
It's so bad. Welcome back, Sato, in true form, as you always were.
Why specify what orb you had? We all knew it was going to be the T-Rex.
Yeah.
Everyone else just says Cosmic Fury Orb. He's like, T-Rex Cosmic Fury Orb.
Man, why do they keep the dinosaur? Like, everybody's asked that question about Cosmic Fury, but like, what was the point, man?
I guess it was.
They don't even have dinosaur Zords that they could use. They're just now their helmets are dinosaurs, and that's it. That's the only thing dinosaurs about them.
Yeah, I mean, why couldn't Billy just design everything based off of the new Zords?
Why don't they just morph into the fucking Q Rangers, and then you have footage you could use, Hasbro? So you have enough money to make 20 episodes instead of 10, Hasbro.
Riely, calm down. Easy, boy.
I like Cosmic Fury so far, but it's like I know these things are like I know Fern's gonna be a Power Ranger, I know Heckle's gonna be there, and it's like we don't have enough episodes left for it to be satisfying to me. Like Fern deserves more than 4 episodes as a Power Ranger.
True.
But regardless of my plights. So yeah, Zeto morphs. He summons his staff that he has now. And he calls himself the Zenith Ranger. You know, my favorite color, Zenith.
Which Zenith is actually, if we can do some research. Zenith definition: the time at which something is most powerful or successful.
Okay, so yeah, he's the Zenith Ranger, and Billy's like, why? And Zeto's like, that's what the Morphin Masters called me when they brought me back. They said I was Zenith. So now he's the Zenith Ranger, and they just kind of like start talking about like what's going on. And Fern's like, yeah, Zolan and Billy are turning the base into a spaceship. And Zeto's like, really? That's awesome! Wait, Fern, what are you doing here?
Fern, what the heck?
Fern, what are you doing? So they kind of just like walk into the hallway to give Zeto more exposition that thankfully we don't have to see. And Ion and Amelia hang back. And Ion's like, hey, Amelia, Zeto's like weird, right? And Amelia's like, what do you mean? And Ion's like, well, I couldn't mind meld with him. And then the trees told him to enjoy the time he has left. So, like, that's weird, right? And I feel like there's something he's not telling us. So yeah, we get kind of the foreshadowing of Zato's got secrets. What is he hiding? And then Nightster, we cut to Eltar. You know, Eltar, the planet where Zordon was from. So we're on Eltar. I don't remember if we went to Eltar in the previous 3 episodes, but I was definitely shocked to see it here today. So Lord Zed has conquered Eltar, which maybe he shows up on Eltar like last episode, and then he conquers it. So he's conquered Eltar, and now he has a palace on Eltar. And so Ollie comes in to tell Lord Zed about how he messed up, and then Squilliam or whatever, that fucking squid butler guy, brings Zed a drink, and Zed's like, I said to do Z ice cubes. These are N ice cubes. And
so if you would just
like,
turn them around.
And Squilliam's like, just turn them around. And Zed throws the drink at him, and he's like, you suck. And he's like, I'll get another one. I'm sorry. And then he runs away crying.
Oh, foolish Inkworth.
Inkworth, that's it.
I love Inkworth.
Yeah, so then Ollie has to come in and tell Lord Zed that he's failed. But because Ollie is Lord Zed's new son, I guess, he's not as upset. Instead, Zed's like, because Ollie's like, I thought that the teamwork would work, but it didn't. Zed's like, boy, my boy, let me tell you something. Teamwork, gay. Don't want to do it.
Gay.
Teamwork is gay. You should only be looking out for yourself. That's the true path to power. Which, this is the first time I'm going to complain about this. There's another time I know I'm going to complain about it, and I'm going to be a lot more angry when we get there. But Zed, you were married. You have a wife. What do you mean only look out for yourself?
How about look after your freaking wife, man?
Yeah, what about your wife and your son?
Oh yeah, your
he
son.
Came to be.
To be fair, his son's dead.
His son's dead. Well, so is Rita, but.
Oh yeah, well. I was gonna say she's technically back, but then.
But the fact that Zed said that Zed was like specifically like look out for only yourself, and it's like Zed, you had a wife.
You had a wife. You had a child.
You had a wife. You had a child. You had a Goldar. Like, come on.
You had a Goldar.
You had a Goldar. You had a Rito. Come on now.
All those freaking Z putties you were looking
Z putties that aren't here. Tangas. Whatever happened to them?
Sentinels now.
I think the Tangas get murdered. Because the thing about the Tangas is, this is more spoilers for later, but like, who cares? But most people who listen to this have already seen Power Rangers, and you'll forget by the time we get to fucking season 3 in Zeo if you haven't. But the Tangas never get like defeated by the Power Rangers. They just like show up. Well, they get defeated, but like they show up, they get beat up, and then they run away. That's what the Tangas do. They never like die. But then, like near the end of Zeo, there's like a war between the Cogs and the Tangas, and I think the Cogs just do kill the Tangas.
My God.
So I think the Tangas died to the Cogs. I think that's what happened to them.
These freaking Tangas, man. Dead to a bunch of machines.
But anyway, so yeah. And there's also the line where Ollie's like, didn't your enemy Zordon live here? And Lord Zed's like, yeah, if only he was alive to see me destroy all of his people and everything he loves. That'd be better.
Yeah.
So Ollie's like, okay, I have to forget my ranger training and become evil and make you proud. And that's what we end on. That's teamwork. So Nightster, what's your favorite character?
I really wanted to give it to Mick because he was just so funny. But you know me and my love for evil rangers. I had to give it to Ollie.
So I gave it to Ollie last time. And it's kind of tempting to give it to him again, if only because of the cool suit and like the villain development. But to be real with you, this is a much more minor reason for picking favorite character, but that does happen sometimes. I just really like Izzy this episode. Like, I really liked her. She was the most like smiley at Mick's antics. She absolutely murked that one monster in the most savage way
Yeah.
I've ever seen it happen to anybody ever.
Juggle these.
So yeah, I think I have to give it to Izzy this time.
That's a good
Uh,
solid pick.
so what about favorite scene?
Uh, I think my favorite scene was probably the "Are you really want to impress her? Juggle these." Dead.
Yeah,
That
that's
was
an
just
honorable
so
mention.
funny.
But I'm gonna give it to. This is where I'm gonna give Ollie credit. I'll give it to the last meeting between Zed and Ollie. I like that Ollie's Zed's new son now. I like that. I like that he's even though he's evil, he's still a power. I like that kind of character detail where like he's evil and he's bad and he wants bad things to happen to good people, but he's still a Power Ranger and he still like remembers the tenets of being a Power Ranger. So that's why he's thinking that teamwork is the answer, and it doesn't work out for him. So I like that detail. I like that. I like that kind of interesting developmental point. So I'll give that my favorite scene. And it's also kind of, it's kind of a cool thing that Zed conquered Eltar. It's also kind of weird that we're on Eltar because Eltar was always sort of this like mystical thing that like we would always hear about, but like we never saw it.
And now we see like one shot of it.
Yeah, now we're just here, and it's like dark and like on fire because Lord Zed has conquered it.
Yep.
Zordon, whatever happened? Did Dark Spectre kill Alpha 5? Cause like in Turbo, right? When Zordon leaves, him and Alpha go back to Eltar. That's why Zordon's gone, because he's like, I want to go home. And the Rangers are like, yes, you could go home, Zordon. You've been a great help to us. We'll miss you. And Zordon and Alpha go to Eltar. And then by In Space, Zordon is in the clutches of Dark Spectre, and we never see Alpha 5 again. Did Dark Spectre kill Alpha 5?
Well, I looked it up and it said after Zordon left for Eltar in shifting the turbo, Alpha 5 went with him and they briefly returned in passing of the torch before Alpha 5's role was taken over. But there's no mention of what happened to him. He just it
Yeah,
could be
we never get
assumed,
an answer. So I guess probably the safest assumption is Dark Spectre, whoever he sent to kidnap Zordon, just fucking killed Alpha.
or Alpha just went to live his own life.
Maybe. No, but Alpha wouldn't. Alpha would be fighting. Alpha would use his little head lightning bolts that he has to defend Zordon.
I keep forgetting he has those.
But anyway, now we gotta rank it. I think. You see, there were good things this episode, but a lot of it was kind of just going through the motions. I kind of feel like the streak continues. I think this might be number 4.
Yeah, it wasn't the best episode, but it wasn't bad.
It wasn't bad. None of the episodes have been bad so far, but I do think this is at the bottom.
Yeah, I'd probably agree, to be honest.
So coming in at number 4, teamwork, not team woke. Teamwork.
Team woke.
Team woke.
The woke team.
I mean, a lot of people would consider this the woke Power Rangers team because there's a lesbian one. I guess there's lesbian ones coming up. Oh, I'm putting this under Crow. Oops. You're not Crow. All right.
Yeah.
So we're done. And blah, blah, blah. I got an email about work. So
Oof.
something about mandatory overtime, which I can't fucking do. So kiss my ass. I guess if enough people don't come in, it'll become mandatory. But like, can't do it, bro. But regardless, yeah, we're done and we're under time. So I was gonna, depending on how this went, I was gonna pose this question. and it seems as if it went exactly as I expected it to go. We should probably switch back to 2 episodes for Cosmic Fury, huh? Like those first two were really jam packed, and that's why we got like scared and switched it to just 1 episode. But now that we're like in the motions, I don't think it's gonna be as like stuffed up. So I think we could switch back to 2 episodes an episode.
I don't see why not.
Okay, so next time on Cosmic Fury, we will be tackling Rock
Doesn't
Out is the next episode, and then Take Off. So I assume Take Off is when they get to go back to Earth, if I had to guess. But but we'll see.
Yeah,
So,
that makes
so
the
that's
most
what we'll be
sense.
doing in 2 weeks. Next week, we'll of course be going back to Mighty Morphin. We'll be watching The Rock Star and Calamity Kimberly.
Huh. That's funny, isn't it? Freaking um
Oh yeah,
rock,
Rock Out and the
rock,
Rock
rock, rock,
Star.
rock star and rock out. Yeah.
we got 2 weeks of rock coming your way.
Got some rocking weeks.
I'm really interested to see how Cosmic Fury goes. Like the fact that like even though we now know the Power Rangers is coming back, it's very
Oh,
obvious that this is going to be a reboot of some sort. So this is the end of like the show Power Rangers that ran from 1993 to 2023. And I'm very interested to see how that bow is tied. And I have a feeling it's not going to be super satisfying, but we'll see.
hold on. All right, sorry.
All right. So, yeah, it's kind of interesting that this is like the last one. I never thought I would see the day. Like,
Until the new season this year.
well, yeah, but that's like going to be a whole new thing. It's going to be a
A
whole new
new
world.
one. Oh no.
It's definitely going to be a reboot. I have a feeling it's going to be its own new universe. That's what I'm going to guess. So, Cosmic Fury would still be at that point the end of Power Rangers as we know it. And I'm very interested to see how that shakes out. Man, why is it only
Should be
10
very interesting.
episodes? I hate it. I hate that they did that.
Yeah, it really ruins like how much screen time your favorite characters from the show get.
Yeah.
Because there's some really good ones.
And now it's like I kind of feel like an obligation in my heart to pick a different, like a new favorite character every time. Because there's only 10 chances, and I want to make sure I don't miss anyone. At
Yeah.
least as far as the Ranger cast is concerned.
Well, there's only there's the 4 that we have now, and then
Zato and Fern and Ollie
Ollie. We've
and
also got Mick.
Billy and
Yeah.
Teckle and Mick. Mick, who I did not give it to while he was on screen. He's good. He's always good, but he was never the best. And I'm curious to see if he comes back, because that I don't know. That's one of the few things I do not know. Him borrowing a Zord to go home makes me think that this is probably a wrap on him, but we'll see.
I actually do not remember if he does or not. He might not. I might be forgetting it. Both of us are just gonna have to wait and see.
I have to wait and see. Exciting stuff coming our way on Power Rangers Cosmic Fury.
I do have one question for
What's
you,
the
Riley.
question? What's the question?
Minor as it is as a change. What do you think of the new look for Ollie's sword?
I like it. It's
Because
cool.
most of the Dino Fury, Cosmic Fury swords are, they're just red in the middle. But his is now blue to match his suit.
You see, that seems weird, because if anybody should have a red streak in their sword, it's Ollie, who's evil now and has a red streak in his suit.
Yeah, but no, he's got a blue streak because he's the Blue Ranger, and he's special because he's evil now.
Blue streak. Speeds by Ollie Akana.
I can't believe you brought it back to Sonic.
Man, when is it? When is it? Oh, I hope this is not a rap on Dr. Akana. I need her to come back. I like her.
Oh yeah, she's
She gets
amazing.
like trickied by Ollie in the last episode, if I remember right.
That was some really good acting on Ollie's part.
Yeah, that was really good. That's why I was thinking that's the scene where I was like, I feel like 3 should be better than 2. That and Ion's like speech about losing his best friend.
Yeah. Like for a moment I actually thought that Ollie had escaped the mind control. But no, he was just still evil and being a dick to his mum.
Yeah, how dare he do that to Dr. Akana?
Yeah, how very dare you?
One of the best characters. All of the like parental slash mentor figures in Dino Fury were really good.
Pop
Like
Pop.
like Solon obviously, Pop Pop, yes. Shout out to Pop Pop.
Shout out to
Has
Pop
Pop
Pop.
Pop been in this one? Oh yeah, he was in episode 1.
He was. Yeah, it was in episode 1.
Yeah, there's Pop Pop, Dr. Akana, Solon, Billy now, uh, Javi and Izzy's parents, who their mother is kind of nothing, but the father's cool.
Yeah. And it is really like crushing to see Izzy try and talk to her dad quite often, but she can't let him know that it's her.
Yeah,
Because
seeing like the Green Ranger have to talk to like Ollie's or have to talk to her dad, but she can't let him know. Like that, yeah, that's good stuff as well.
yeah, like it's crushing, but it's good.
Yeah, the Furies I think really kind of brought it back. Like a lot of people criticize that. Well, I guess Beast Morphers too. Why do I always forget Beast Morphers? Because I like Beast Morphers, but I always forget it. I'm always like, yeah, there was Ninja Steel and then there was Dino Fury. You know, that's how it went.
Nah, man, Beast Morphers.
Because Beast Morphers is like great so far. So I'm like a few episodes into season 2. I haven't gotten to the RPM stuff yet, which is why Crow hates it with a passion. So I guess I'll see how I feel about it.
That was my favorite part.
Well, interesting then. I know a certain scientist comes back, and I'm pretty
Like,
sure she's the only one that comes back, which is kind of unfortunate. But you know.
I kind of feel bad for you because you've been spoiled on the fact that it does happen and she comes back.
Yeah,
Because
and I
I
know
didn't,
like everything that happens in Power Rangers basically, so
because I didn't know that when I first watched it, and when I heard the RPM reveals in Beast Morphers, I literally had to pause it and just think to myself, "Wait, what? They're actually doing this? No!" And I just laughed to myself because it was so good. I love it.
Yeah, but it's like if you're gonna bring her back, then how are you gonna not bring Ziggy back? Come on.
Oh yeah, the couple. You have to bring back the
Yeah,
couple.
you gotta bring Ziggy back. What was Milo Cawthorn up to that you couldn't bring Ziggy back? What's a fun Power Rangers thing that we could talk about?
Like how attractive some um characters from the show are.
I mean, it is like statistically true because like since like Wild? No, not Wild Force. I think it was like sometime late Disney era. They stopped hiring actors and started hiring models. Maybe it was Neo Saban. But like in Neo Saban, they just straight up were hiring models. So that's why they're all hot. Because they didn't care about acting. They just hired models.
But even before then, though, I mean,
Oh yeah, for sure. Like Madison from Mystic Force might be the most beautiful woman to ever exist. Like I don't know where they found her, but wow.
she is good.
Uh,
Friggin' Toku film video ideas. Rain Girl Pass.
Nah, we can't. We can't be doing. We can't be horny on main, Nightster.
Oh, man.
It's very uncouth to be horny on main.
Yeah, true.
Man. I mean, to go to this season, Amelia, bro. Amelia,
Amelia, yeah.
come on. I believe they also. I believe Hasbro's hiring models too. I know she does modeling. I don't know if she's an actor and model, or if she's just a model and a Power Ranger. But I know she does modeling. I've like actually seen her shoots. She's the only one I've actually seen model shoots for, but I know they're like all models in Neo Saban.
Yeah.
But regardless, I think we can. I think it's time to draw this episode to a close. I think we'll get close enough, if not there. So Nightster, where can our listeners find you?
Through my main channel, Nightster, even though I don't really post on there anymore, or through the collab channel for Toku stuff that I mostly do with Riely, Toku Thrill.
Yep, and that one is linked. They're both linked in the description. For me, you can go to linktr.ee/Riely Cinematic Universe, Riely Cinematic Universe. Lots of podcasts and YouTube channels and all that stuff. Main shout out to my live shows I do, both on Thursdays. Thursday at noon Eastern. You can catch the Trans Fat Experience with me and Demi Gloom on the Demi Gloom YouTube channel. And then at 7 p.m. Eastern, you can catch the Death Stream with me and Brad, where we talk about current events and politics and stuff. And that's on my channel, Riely and Friends. And that's it. I said I was going to plug 3 things, but then I realized the reason why I've been plugging 3 things on other shows is because the third thing is Megazord Radio being back, and this is Megazord Radio. So I only had to plug those other 2 things. So anyway, yeah, that's it. So we'll see you next week for the Rockstar and Calamity Kimberly. And until next time, we're morphing out of here.
Link to
Morphin' Grid.